Hello, my friend. Here is another of my episodes on Philosophers on Evil, and this one is a quick one on Hume's view of evil. So David Hume, the great British empiricist, took the view that evil is not a thing that you can actually find in the world. And it is not a logical error either. He is the one who moved the conversation from metaphysics to psychology and sentiment. He thought evil does not exist in the universe, but it exists inside of the person who is observing the act. So you can't, said Hume, derive an ought from an is. You can't derive a value from a reality. You can describe something in scientific detail, something bad like a crime, and you can describe how the knife has entered the chest or the heart is stopping, but you can't find the evil under a microscope, because it's not a fact of nature, but a feeling that arises in the person observing the thing that they find distasteful. So Hume became convinced that morality is more of an aesthetic taste. It's more a preference than anything. In the same way in which you find a sunset beautiful, you'll find certain acts good and certain acts evil because they cause you displeasure and you find them obnoxious and distasteful. So why is it then that most people make the same judgments about what they find evil? Well, for Hume, that was because of our capacity for sympathy, for feeling the same way about things. Human beings tend to mirror each other. When we see someone who is getting harmed, we feel that inside of ourselves, and each of us will feel that in the same way, and therefore, because we find the sight of suffering painful, we label the cause of that suffering evil. So that is what evil is. It is that which causes suffering, a lot like Spinoza. So we approve of things, says Hume, that are useful and agreeable, and we disapprove of the things that are not useful, harmful, and disagreeable, and we call those vicious or evil. So Hume provides a kind of religious argument as well. So he asks the usual question, is God willing to prevent evil but not able to? Is that why there is evil in the world? And he concludes that if God is willing to prevent evil but not able to do so, then God is actually impotent. And if God is able but not willing to prevent evil, then God is malevolent. Is he both able and willing to prevent evil? if that were so, then where does evil come from? And unlike Descartes, who tried to kind of save God's reputation by using logic, Hume used this dilemma about God to suggest that we cannot use the design of the world to prove a perfectly good, all-powerful creator, because there's no evidence for it. The presence of suffering is simply a fact that contradicts the idea of a perfect architect. That's all I'm going to say about Hume's take on evil.